Thanks for joining me. I'm Jared Oliver, and today we recap Panthers football after hosting Appalachian State. And the team loses one of its key players for the rest of the season. Only Primetime Sportz will tell you who that is. Nathan Maloney and the golf team travels to Mexico. We'll tell you why and give you his reaction upon their arrival back. So let's get started. Primetime Sportz starts now. Georgia State faces off against Ball State University this weekend as their final conference game. But first, we want to go back and discuss the Panthers falling to the Appalachian State Mountaineers 37-3. The defense gave up almost 500 total yards, 498 to be exact. Trent Miles and his team are now 1-3. Joining me now, Primetime Sportz correspondent and football analyst David Shilley. So David Shilley, tell me what went wrong and just what happened in this game.
Well, got to give credit to Appalachian State. They're just a very solid football team. They stopped Nick Arbuckle's gunslinging passing attack. They held him to 166 yards, and Arbuckle averages well over 300 yards per game. So not much production there on the offense. They couldn't run the ball very well. They failed to reach 100 yards yet again on the season. And the offense of Appalachian State is very good. They had a lot of deep plays. They burned the Panther secondary. It was just a whole total effort from Appalachian State, completely outplayed the Panthers, and when you get outplayed, you're not going to win.
All right, well, we're going to head to the Ball State game. It seems like we talk about this every week. What do they have to do to get a win in Ball State?
Well, the Panthers left from Muncie, Indiana at about 7:30 this morning, and they're very focused. They're very anxious for a win, and good news for them, Ball State isn't very good either. Ball State is 2-4. And they allow over 200 yards passing and 200 yards rushing per game, which is good news for Georgia State. So they're going to go in there. They're going to run the ball. They're also going to try to pass the ball a little bit, get a little bit of that balanced offense established, and hopefully they can come out with a win. It's definitely possible. Ball State is not a very good football team, and for the past 2 weeks, Georgia State's been playing very good football teams. Liberty is a better team than people think. Just because they're in a lower division than GSU does not mean that they're a bad football team. And Appalachian State, as I just mentioned, is a very good football team, but Ball State, not so much. So this is a very winnable game for the Panthers.
All right, thank you so much, David. Just stay with us right quick. We're going to come right back to you. Tight end Joel Ruiz, who is named to the All-Sun-Belt team, it has been reported that Ruiz is shutting it down for the rest of the year. He is finishing this season with only 4 receptions for 38 yards. Prior to last year, he finished the season with 39 catches for 478 yards and 3 touchdowns. David, we're going to come back to you. What did you see, or what happened the Park take in this injury so for him to call it quits for the rest of the year?
Well, Joe Ruiz had a second opinion on that knee injury that he sustained, and it just seems that he can't go anymore. There's just no reason to have him play. It's not safe. It's not a good look. So it's over for him at Georgia State. Maybe he'll move on to the draft. Who knows? And it's really unfortunate because he was a top 10 tight end, actually top 5 tight end for seniors and heading into the 2016 NFL draft. So it's very sad to see that his season is over.
Well, of course, he was a great asset last year. Hasn't had much production this year, of course, because of the injury. So what impact does this have on the offense, if any?
Well, it takes away a little bit of that short passing game. He's a good security blanket for Nick Arbuckle on third downs. And you can't have a guy like Joe Ruiz go away because he's such a great combination between a wide receiver and a tight end. He's kind of like a Jimmy Graham type of guy. And he also played quarterback in high school, so his football IQ is through the roof. So losing a guy like him is not just losing a good football player, but a leader in the locker room. And it's very unfortunate to see him go down, but they still do have receiving options on that offense with Donovan Harden and Penny Hart and Robert Davis. So there is some positive to this.
All right. Thank you, David. Thank you so much. Always knows his stuff, man. The inside man on all of that. All right. Just weeks away before the kickoff of the basketball season, GSU Jams returns for another night of entertainment, a night filled with talents and interactive fans in support of the upcoming season. Ron Hunter shows us some of his popular moves from the famous dance, Hit the Quan. Take a look.
After losing seniors Alicia Andrews, Brittany Logan, and Gabby Moss, the women's basketball team is looking for new talent in the 2015-2016 season. So much so, Flyers can be seen around campus holding tryouts for walk-ons. Primetime thinks the team has found its newest member. On October 8th, the men and women of the GSU basketball program hosted its third annual GSU Jam event, where the Panther family is introduced to both squads before the new season begins. The men are arguably coming off their most influential season, and the star of the night was once again head coach Ron Hunter, who entered the event in a spacesuit and Segway before hitting the Quan with a few Georgia State students. Attendees received the full in-game experience as the pep band, cheerleaders, and dance team all performed to bring the exciting atmosphere of the basketball season back to the sports arena. Events during the night included a competitive three-point competition where redshirt freshman Jeff Thomas took home honors, beating senior and three-point specialist Carter Cagle on a night where the threes were seemingly raining from the ceiling. The next event of the night was the dunk contest, where officially TJ Shice became the new champion. However, reigning champion Isaiah Dennis was the people's champ, as Dennis put the crowd on his feet by jumping over an airplane.
All right, we just finished the third annual GSU Jam here inside the GSU Sports Arena. I got the chance to catch up with senior guard Kevin Ware and junior guard Isaiah Dennis. Let's go see what the guys had to say.
Ware speaks on the scoring duo of Ryan Harrell and RJ Hunter and how they taught him.
Contribute. Watching RJ and Ryan, how they played and contributed every night, it was just kind of like the stepping stone for me, and the thoughts are going through my head this year.
Once again, Ware vows to leave social media for the season after failing to do so last season.
So, just with the whole Twitter situation, I just looked at how RJ sacrificed and saw the blessings he got. So I'm looking at it and thinking about it that exactly same way. Just I want to be where RJ is. I want to be that next person up from Georgia State to be in the NBA and see where my career could go. So,
as far as team goes, Ware said they were as simple can be.
Another Sun Belt championship. Got to get to the Sweet 16, man. Got to do better every year.
Dennis said inspiration to jump over the plane came from the team's sports information director, Mike Holmes.
Mike Holmes, he saw me on walking on campus and asked me, did I want to jump over anything? I said, I'll jump over anything. He said, a plane. And I got scared. I was like, a plane? How you going to get a plane to the sports arena? But, he made it happen, so that's where the deal came from.
Dennis' past dunks have made it onto Sports Center, just like Coach Hunter has in the past. And Dennis believes the coach can make it back to the show.
He might be if he keep doing that dance.
So you saw Coach Hunter dancing, you saw some shots, you saw some dunking, you saw a little bit of everything here at the GSU Jam session for 2015. For Primetime Sports inside the GSU Sports Arena, I'm Rashad Milligan. Play ball.
Georgia State men's soccer looks to continue their momentum as the team comes off a 6-1 win over the New Jersey Institute of Technology. The team now sits with a 6-5 record, controlling their own destiny with 5 games left in regular season play. Basketball guard Kevin Ware enters his senior year, and this is what you need to know. Last year, he averaged 7.6 points per game, 3 rebounds, and just 2 assists. Expect Kevin to be more involved in the offense this year now that RJ Hunter and Ryan Harrell have moved on. Kevin will have to improve his shooting percentage behind the arc. Kevin finished last season shooting 29% behind the arc. And we're going to move on. Trent Miles returns to his home state as they face Ball State this weekend. Nathan Nair explains more about his return back.
Coach Trent Miles returned to his home state of Indiana, where the Georgia State Panthers will take on Ball State this upcoming game. And this is what you need to know. Not only was he born there, Miles attended Indiana State University, which is also where he served as head coach for 5 years before coming to Georgia State in 2013. Switching gears now, junior wide receiver Robert Davis has had at least 1 catch in every game, 29 straight, since joining the Panthers. Davis is 7th in the Sun Belt Conference with 4.4 receptions and 62 receiving yards per game. Penny Hart is third among all freshman receivers in the FBS in receptions with 6 per game, receiving yards with 88 per game, and touchdowns with 4. Nick Arbuckle is currently leading in the Sun Belt Conference in passing yards with 310 per game and is second in total offense with 302 per game. Touchdown passes with 10 and passing efficiency with a total number of 146. Let's hope Arbuckle, Davis, Penny Hart, and the rest of this Georgia football team can make Trent Miles' homecoming a good one.
All right, Nathan, thank you so much. Georgia State's men's golf team won their first invitational. Nathan Maloney speaks only to Primetime Sportz about their win in Cabo de Sol. Primetime Sportz correspondent Caleb Johnson reports.
Coming off their first win of the season at the Cabo del Sol Intercollegiate Invitational in Mexico, the men's golf team headed back home to play on their own turf at the 5th annual Autotrader.com Collegiate Classic. I took a few moments of time with junior and current GSU Player of the Week, Nathan Maloney, to ask him his thoughts on the team.
We've got a really good group of guys, and I think just getting better each day, we'll be in good shape by the end of the season.
So you were third overall last week in Mexico and huge in the team win. What was it like for the team to get that first win of the season?
You know, everybody's excited. We're basically on vacation in Cabo del Sol, or Cabo San Lucas, and I mean, we're staying on the beach. The course is on the beach. We're having a great time. I really just put together a really memorable week for all of our guys. I just happened to play well. I really putted well, and just kept it in play and kind of did my thing. I feel like I've been getting better, you know, every year, and to get to place third in a tournament and really have a chance to win it at the end just give me a really good sense of accomplishment that I can build on.
You were named this week's GSU Player of the Week. How does it feel to get that recognition?
It's really cool. You know, I took a screenshot, sent it to my parents, and something I can be pretty proud of. But yeah, it's definitely cool to get some recognition.
The men's golf team finished the tournament 4th, scoring a 1 over par. Lipscomb University just ran away with the tournament, scoring 25 under par. The men's golf team gets back to action October 24th and 25th in Greensboro, North Carolina. They'll be playing at the UNCG Bridgestone Collegiate Tournament. For Primetime Sportz, I'm Caleb Johnson.
All right, thank you, Caleb. Thanks for being with me. You can get the latest Georgia State sports news by subscribing to our YouTube channel at GSU Prime Sports. Remember to follow Primetime Sportz on Twitter at Prime Sports with a Z. I'm Jared Oliver in Atlanta. Have a great week.